we're nowhere near the biggest spenders. If you look at net spend, which is incomings, that you take off the outgoings, Blackburn have a net spend of minus 7.8 million. QPR minus 6.35 million, Charlton minus 11.62 million, Swansea minus 7 million, Derby minus 9.4 million, Wrexham minus 27.33 million. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And we can finally say now that the transfer window has closed. Now, this is a little bit of a late one for us because of me being on holiday last week, but we had to do this podcast, really. We had to give our views on the overall opinion of the transfer window for Birmingham City. In this podcast, myself and Matt are going to give a general overview of the business we've done this summer, for the Championship, and to decide whether or not we feel that we're stronger now than when we went into the window. So hopefully you find it interesting, and it is what it says in the tin, Matt. So what's your thoughts on the overall transfer business we've done in this summer transfer window?
I think it's been great. I think it's easy to forget that we did a lot of our business early in the summer, isn't it? I think there's a section of the Blues fans who think it's been a slightly underwhelming transfer window, or at least a underwhelming end to the transfer window. And I think there's two things we need to remind ourselves of. We're not always going to get that Jay Stansfield last-minute deadline day reveal 15 million transfer, and also we did a lot of our transfers on early on. So imagine if we signed Damari Gray, Kyogo, Tommy Doyle all on the last day. I think the fan base would have been absolutely buzzing. But I think when you look objectively at the talent and the calibre of player we've brought in, I still think we've got some fantastic additions. Yes, even from the first couple of games of the season, Chris Davies has work to do in terms of getting that little bit of click, creating chances for Kyogo, and certain players in certain positions finding their feet. But that always takes time when you start a new season. I think objectively, when you look at the names, I've got the names here, I'm sure you've got the names there, and you go through it line by line, we've had one hell of a transfer window. I mean, we've got some serious talent through the door here.
Yeah, what you mentioned there is true about the fact that, we have to build the squad progressively. You can't do everything in one or two transfer windows. I think was it
you've said famously, Dad, it's going to take 4 or 5 windows to get us to the place we need to be.
That's not my words. I think that was someone like Alex Ferguson or somebody famous said that it takes a good 4 to 5 transfer windows to assemble the squad that you really want. And of course, we're also working under the financial restrictions or the boundaries that the other clubs have got to work to as well.
Just on that, Dad, so when someone says 4 to 5 transfer windows, you are talking 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah, it is, and you've seen that already because some of the players we bought in last summer and last January have now been moved on and gone. So they were what we needed at the time, but you're building and building and building. But just a few headline figures about this transfer window for Birmingham City, and some of this might surprise a few people. I agree with you. We had the marquee signing of Jay Stansfield last summer. It turned out that Kyogo was the actual.
Or Damari Gray. I know Damari Gray was free, but when you look at a player of that calibre coming back in his prime,
I suppose I'm talking about marquee in terms of money.
Okay,
but you are right. So and also as well, we have 14 incomings in total, of which we only paid a fee for 5, and 2 of those 5 were Sampstead and Taylor Gardner-Hickman, who we had obligations to buy. Mm-hmm. So we've only effectively, take those 2 aside, we've only paid fees for 3 players out of those 14, if you don't count those 2.
And we've used all 5 of our loan spots as well, haven't we?
Yeah, okay. We've paid out 14.35 million in total transfer fees, but we've had in 10.18 million. That gives us a net spend of minus 4.17 million, right, which is good business. But this is what might surprise a few fans that don't realise this. We're nowhere near the biggest spenders. If you look at net spend, which is incomings, that you take off the outgoings, Blackburn have a net spend of minus 7.8 million. QPR minus 6.35 million, Charlton minus 11.62 million, Swansea minus 7 million, Derby minus 9.4 million, Wrexham minus 27.33 million. Middlesbrough, yeah.
Say that again for Wrexham.
Wrexham minus 27.33 million.
That's a lot of money, isn't
yeah,
it?
it was always going to be the case for Wrexham. We last year we were in the same divisions then, but we were building a squad for Championship. They weren't. They were just trying to get out of League One, weren't they? So they was always going to have to spend more money to try and be competitive in the Championship. The points I'm making with those figures, and there are others as well. These are figures as well based upon the information from Transfer Market, the website that shows you all the various transfer fees. So there may be some slight variation, but what it does demonstrate overall is that we've been quite astute in the transfer market, and I think that's because there's a reality of the financial boundaries that all teams have to work for now. So we haven't gone mad, but got in some good signings. We'll talk about very briefly in a moment. And not really paid the earth for them.
But also, Dad, you got to remember we are not privy to sign-on fees, manager fees, agent fees, their player salaries. Asoi Samuel had Premier League interest as an example. Tommy Doyle comes with a big wage packet.
Yep.
Kyogo and Damari Gray aren't going to be on pennies a week, are they? They're going to be on some serious amounts of money. So I think Blues have spent wisely in terms of balancing the books, ingoings, outgoings. I think we do most years, to be fair. We spoke even last year about Stansfield coming in for 15 million, but people forgot about Jordan James and Siriki Dembele, Bakuna, all the players we sold, which actually contributed to that in and of itself. I think actually now we have Knighthead, Dad, and we've spoke about this at length in previous videos. We have such a good, legal team and whatever the financial team behind us now. They're always going to do good business, and then they're never going to throw us under the bus, are they? And we have to remember that. I think when you think about the salaries and the sign-on fees and the bonuses and all these different things, there's more than just what you pay for a player behind the scenes, what goes into your balancing your books. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, and you've got to take into account the money we've got in. So just to tell you some of the figures we've got in, these again from Transfer Market. Ramel Donovan, I thought it was around about 5 million, but according to Transfer Market, we got 3.6 million for him. It could amount to that after
exactly.
what add-ons, but 3.6 that's in the amount they've calculated. Yokoyama, apparently we got 3 million, which really surprised me. I didn't think we got that much for him. Alfie May, we got 1.4 million. Christian Bielet, 1.2 million. Brandon Keeler was 380k. George Hall, 210k. Longello, 150k. All adds up. So
and we got money from Job Sal to Dortmund.
Yes,
didn't we, in the summer as well. So there's little things we got here and there from other sources as well.
Yeah, so that shows you why we've spent about £4 million altogether. If you take away what we've actually sent out to what we've actually got in, which is really good. But some of the players we bought in, clearly, I think that the club have prioritised experience as well. We knew that we had to fill those gaps in terms of pace and power and all those type of things, but it's experience. So the average age of the players that we've actually sold is 25.3, but the players that have come in is 26.1. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's an average age. So it shows you there's a slightly bit more experience in the squad there, which I think is important in the Championship. You do need experience. So overall, in terms of the money spent, we're nowhere near the biggest spenders. And some clubs have made a massive profit. I mean, I've played teams like Leicester who have bought in very few players and they've sold for big money. Southampton as well. They've sold some big.
West Brom sold fellows. I think Norwich have done a lot of business this transfer window as well. I mean, there are teams throwing a lot of decent money around this summer transfer market, isn't there? And I think when you look at Leicester, Southampton, who else with Ipswich, and again, I know we're 4 games in, I totally get that, but I think this season the Championship's as wide open as ever, because usually you have Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United are usually up there. There's a couple of teams who just quite literally run away with it. They're in that middle awkward ground of Championship and Premier League, whereas this season, just in my opinion, I think this is a really wide open Championship. So there are some teams throwing some serious money. There are teams doing well as well from start of the season who haven't had a push on for a while. Like Swansea are in 7th as an example.
It is going to be competitive. I did want to go through all of the names. Myself and Matt have done post-match podcasts for all the new editions. We are again one behind, so the next podcast you'll see after this one is because I've been away. We are going to do a very sort of overview of both Jack Robinson and Patrick Roberts in the next, just to sort of close that loop with all the players. But if you want to find out about the players that we've brought in, go to our channel. There's a podcast on every single one of them. So we don't want to do this podcast naming all the names that you already know that have come in. But what I do want to do though though, Matt, if it's okay with you, is literally go through the 4 areas of the pitch and just ask the question in each area: are we now stronger compared to when we went into the window? So, sorry, was you going to say something?
I was going to say, I don't want to list all the players that we've signed at, but I think it's worth listing the 5 loan players that we've got in, again, just to see the quality that we've got in here. So Tommy Doyle takes one of the spots.
Yeah.
Aaron Cashin takes one of the spots. And I know, again, there's been a few performances that Blues fans have got on Cashin's back immediately, but he sold for 10 million, was it? Or 8 million?
9, he was 9 million. He went to Brighton.
Exactly. So, a
He
player
went
to
from
get
Derby to Brighton.
a player of that calibre, that money to get on loan, still great. Patrick Roberts is going to be, in my opinion, I think he's going to be phenomenal. Spoiler alert for the podcast tomorrow. James Beadle and Lewis Kuma. So I think again the club has done very smart business with their loan deals, Dad.
Yeah, and we always have. I think that's where we've done well in the past in the loan market, haven't we? But let's just very briefly go through all the positions. So if I said to you the goalkeeping position, do you think we're now stronger? This is probably the easiest one to answer because there's only a few names to think about here, really. So obviously we loaned out Bailey Peacock-Farrell and we brought in James Beadle, and apart from that, everything's the same.
Well, for me, Dad, when I look at goalkeeper, Allsop's our number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly happy with Allsop. And James Beadle.
I mean, this question actually boils down to, really, do you think James Beadle is better than Bailey Peacock-Farrell?
Exactly, and I do.
And I do as well. And I think all Blues fans in their back of the mind would be concerned if Allsop got injured. But you would have been that last season. You probably would if we had another goalkeeper in there as well. Yeah. I think we could possibly be stronger in the goalkeeping department. But as we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, this is about building a squad. Are we stronger in goal compared to winning? I think slightly.
Yeah, slightly. I think that's a fair point. Yeah. Slightly better. Yeah.
Slightly. Okay. Going to the defence now. So defence. So just to mention some of the players that we've actually sold. In defence, and there's actually a fair few. So Christian Bielek we know about. He went to West Brom. Emmanuel Langello, he's doing actually very well at Motherwell at the moment. Grant Hanley went off loan, didn't we? We had him in a short-term contract, didn't we? He's now at Highbury. Mung Jae Lee, the enigma that was, I played a few games. He's gone back to South Korea. Who else have we got in defence? Dean Sanderson now he's at Derby on loan, and I think they were trying to get him over the line as a permanent transfer, but he's gone as well. Dean Sanderson, and I think that's pretty much it for they're the players that have gone, and we know who we bought in. I mean, so we obviously got what's his name, Neumann. We bought
Cashin.
in Cashin, Osoyi Samuel,
Jack Robinson,
Jack Robinson as well. So as an overview, what's your thoughts on whether our defence is stronger now?
So I think the glaring red button or red flag in my brain, Dad, is the left-back position. And it's not because we're weaker at the left-back position. I just thought we were going to get another left-back in to cover for Cochrane. And we all know Laird has been great, actually, since he's filled in during Cochrane's injury. But I thought we were going to get another left-back just to give Cochrane a break from time to time. But maybe Chris Davies, from what he's seen at the start of the season, he might be lining up Laird to take that space when Cochrane's injured or when he needs a rest or whatever it might be. I think our right side is the strongest it's been in many, many years. If you think about Laird and Osoyi Samuel battling it out for right back, I mean, they are 2 top-end Championship Premier League right backs, aren't they? They are both absolutely fantastic. And centre-half as well, Clara, outstanding. Neumann, I think, still has to adapt to the English game. I think he's still a good player. The one question mark that lingers around me at centre-half, Dad, is Bielek.
Yeah.
I don't get why we sold him and bought in Jack Robinson. Just in my opinion, I think Bielek is a better centre-half. However, that might have been Bielek forcing that through. Not in a negative way, but just saying, I'm not going to get football here at Birmingham City this season. I want regular football, so I'm going to not ask for a transfer request, but if someone comes in for me, I'm going to go. So overall, I think we are stronger, but it's just that Bielek-Robinson thing I a little bit unsure about.
We didn't know about Robinson until the last day of the window, did we? In fact, the very last moments. But obviously, we had Ben Davies, who he also went back to Rangers, didn't he?
Ben Davies, he was solid for his last season.
And he was left-footed. And I think that, for me, the Jack Robinson signing was almost salvaged the defence, really, because, Bielek was a big loss, I think. And I think for the reasons you mentioned, he probably wanted regular first-team football, which he'll probably get at West Brom. I know they're a decent side, but, Bielek's a decent player. But I was worried because at that point, we were very late in the day. We got Jack Robinson, and we really needed to strengthen. And he's left-footed as well.
He is.
Bielek's not,
and he can play left back.
Yeah, exactly. So he could cover that left back as well. So for me, I do get your points about letting Bielek go. But if a player like even like an Alfie May who wants to go and play regularly, you're not going to stand in their way, are you?
It is what it is. I wish Bielek all the best, Dad, and I'm sure Jack Robinson's going to be fantastic for us. But just a little bit of a weird one for me, that.
I like Asoi Samuel. I think he's a very, very good addition on the right. I think Neumann will come good. I think he's adapting. He's been a little bit sluggish in some of the games, but there's a big difference. I think in terms of coming to a new country and adapting to the different type and style and pace of the Championship as well. And at left back, we have got Alex Cochrane there, led as we've seen him play in that position brilliantly. We've still got Lee Buchanan to come back as well. And I think that obviously Clara and Neumann are going to be the first two that will be picked. But I do like the addition of Jack Robinson, if I'm honest. I think he can play a number of positions. He's left-footed as well. We saw with Ben Davies, we play much more balanced with a left-footed centre half if he comes in. And I like about Jack Robinson as well. He's experienced. Yeah. So let's go to the midfield. Okay, so just to see who we brought in midfield. So we've got Fujimoto has come in. Damari Gray as a left winger. We've got Tommy Doyle who's come in, Patrick Roberts as a right back, and Lewis Kumas as a left winger. They've all come in. Going out as midfielders, we've got Ramel Donovan, who didn't play too much for part in the club anyway, but he's gone. Yokoyama, he's gone. Brandon Keeler's gone. George Hall's gone. Second striker, Tyler Roberts. He's classified as a second striker, actually. But Alfie Chang, there's a lot, isn't there? Taylor Gardner-Hickman, as we know, has gone now on loan to Blackburn. Emil Hansen. There's a lot of players gone, haven't there? So what's your thoughts on Kieran Dow, attacking midfielder? He went back off loan, didn't he? And Luke Harris, so there's some of the loan players went back. So lots of changes, I think, in midfield.
Yeah, I think we're much stronger in midfield, Lad, especially when you think about the depth now. I mean... Again, similar to the defence, when I think about the left back, I do think about a Watta and the defensive midfielder side of the game because, we've got Paik, we've got Tommy Doyle and Mark Leonard. They're all kind of the, quite creative, short tick-attacker, passing football kind of players. We haven't got a secondary leg breaker, a break-up play and a Watta kind of player. So that's my only thing with the midfield with the Watta. But I think overall, we think about Damari Gray, now Patrick Roberts, Tommy Doyle, yeah. Lewis Kumas. I think we've got some great talent in there, and I think just keep this one short and sweet for me, Dad. I think our midfield is quite a bit stronger than it was last season.
Yeah, I can't add much to that, to be honest. I feel exactly the same. I think that some of the players I've named there, they've played a very big part. Tyler Roberts, we haven't seen him for years. Alfie Chang, George Hall, good luck to them, good young players, but they weren't in that, Luke Harris went back off loan, he's at Oxford now. So yeah, I mean, you can't not see that's just that's just names that have come and gone. That's not accounting for the players that you've mentioned that are already here. Yeah. So I think we're much stronger in midfield. I think that's our best area of recruitment in of the four sections we're looking at. So I think we can both agree on that. And finally, Matt, we come on to our attacking options. Who we've brought in attack, we've brought in Kyogo Furuhashi, Marvin Dukes. Who else have we got here? Goalkeeper, and that's it. I've got for two forwards, unless I've missed anybody there. Obviously, we've talked about the midfielders, and as we know, with Tyler Roberts, we all count as a forward. He's gone. Alfie May's gone. Yuki has retired. So yeah, generally, I mean, I don't think I've missed anybody there. So did
you mention Kanya Fujimoto? When we were okay. Sorry,
I just mentioned he's one of our additions. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the list I've got are not in any particular order of parts of the pitch. So, what's your thoughts on their overall front line now?
Again, I think it's much better. When you think about Kyogo, Dad, he's a born goal scorer. His movement. Dukes is that kind of link-up play. He's going to get a lot of assists, good passing, good vision, intelligence. Stansfield runs the line like an absolute animal. Again, short and sweet, I think we are significantly better front. But what I will say on the forward line is we will get better with time. Goals will come. We will get better creatively. We will create more chances and we will score more goals. Because I think that, again, there's little pockets of Blues fans that are frustrated at the sort of underwhelming, I guess, in the attacking part of the game. And I totally see where they're coming from. I think sometimes we do get stuck in that side-to-side loop from time to time. We will come good. Forwards are, in my opinion, Dad, great additions and a significantly better front line for us. More versatility, I think, for us going forward.
Yeah, because we've still got like Dukes. He's still got to come to match fitness, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Kyogo needs to, not really not really just him, but everybody needs to get used to his style of play.
So does Fujimoto. So does Tommy Doyle. So does
Yeah.
Cashin. A
Yeah.
lot of these players have been a bit rusty for the past 6 to 12 months. They need game time.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I don't think you can argue that we are stronger up front, and I think it will come with time. But I think we maybe need to see another half a dozen games to really get ticking over. But so overall, I think then from what you've just said of what I said, I think we both agree that the transfer window has been a good one and that it has made us stronger.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think, Dave. But we talk about the goalkeeper slight improvement, the defence slight improvement, the midfield much more improved, and the forward line much more improved. But actually, the defensive line and the goalkeeper, with Allsop and our defenders, they didn't need much improvement. So I think a slight improvement is actually a very good thing because we were already pretty solid there.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just hitting that point home. Is I think we've had a very good window, Dad. We've definitely advanced in all areas of the pitch, and I can't wait until when you get to that point of the season where the table starts to normalise and fill out, because we're in that. Some teams have a honeymoon period, some teams just get off to a slow start, and we will start to normalise in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to the table and the season levelling out and us hitting our form, and I've no doubt, Dad, we're going to be a good side this season.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that you can see from what myself and Matt think, we believe that it has been a good transfer window. It's been up and down, lots of speculation as always in every transfer window. But now that the dust has settled and the window's closed, I think we can all get really focused on the football, can't we? And getting behind the players that we have got in now. And I'm sure we might see some changes in January and then build forward from there. But overall, I think that we believe that it's been a great transfer window once again at Birmingham City. But as always, love to know what you think. What do you think about the transfer window? Are you happy with some of the signings, or maybe not? Maybe you're sort of not overly overwhelmed by some of them. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you did like this podcast, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you like to, if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, then pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And you'll also find us on Spotify. So pop along there and you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all of these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already and you'd like to, then hit that big red subscribe button. And if you hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you'll get notified every time myself and Matt put out a new podcast. So that's it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. And just check out tomorrow's podcast. Don't forget, because we are going to do a player profile for our latest signings in the transfer window, Jack Robinson and Patrick Roberts. So that's it for this one. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one. All about Birmingham City.